If you've been in crypto or Cardano for any amount of time, likely you've heard the term mass adoption, and a lot of blockchains in general are trying to reach billions of users. But at the moment, pretty much no blockchain out there, including Cardano, can do such with the current architecture. In today's video, I want to go over not monolithic, that's the current architecture, but modular blockchain architecture and Orbis projects, which is a layer 2 solution building on Cardano, and their basically availability for how this is going to happen. How can Cardano serve a billion users, and what are their steps that they're taking right now to make it so? I know most people just like the price videos, and yes, Cardano price is doing great today, but in reality, the price will only sustain based on the fundamental levels of a blockchain. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. Some good old fundamentals, things that are going to come and probably be all up in your face in many years when they're actually fully functioning, and because people have been looking into them for many years. Likely that's just how it's going to be. You might not care right now, but I think this is a very important video. I think it's very interesting knowledge to have, and also helps you decide, hey, should I stick around, or hey, should I go now? So as I mentioned, right now there's not really a single blockchain in existence that can accommodate a billion users, and that's one of Cardano's main goals. It aims to serve a billion users, especially through decentralized identity systems and just basically people who are unbanked right now and giving them a bank. So how are we going to do this? How can we pivot towards a modular blockchain that can serve a billion users, and why is a monolithic blockchain not really that great for serving a billion users? So first things first, data availability. That's what we're going to be looking at today, and that's the objective of modular blockchains, is to have better data availability, because right now in a monolithic blockchain, it's kind of scrambled and it's kind of hard to get data without making a transaction. I'll go over that more in a second. So what is data availability? Well, before we explore the concept of this, it's imperative to know the concept of modular blockchain architecture and understand some of the key differences between a monolithic, the current system, and a modular blockchain. Public blockchains have been around for more than a decade. Doesn't matter if Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, none of them could achieve mass adoption yet, because none of them were able to crack the puzzle of the blockchain trilemma, achieving decentralization, scalability, and security all in one. Right now, the lack of scalability for all of these blockchains is because of their monolithic architecture. A monolithic blockchain is a chain that seeks to handle all the functions like data availability, network consensus, transaction execution from a single system. A monolithic blockchain is designed to not outsource components to external networks, and this burdens a monolithic blockchain with too many tasks to perform. So basically, we're going to prevent it from scaling because we don't want to compromise decentralization and security, therefore not meeting the blockchain trilemma and being stuck in the blockchain trilemma, not breaking free of it and achieving all three things at once. Unrelenting research to break the blockchain trilemma has given rise to a lot of concepts, and especially so the modular blockchain architecture that Orbis is talking about today and we're looking at. In simple words, it is a chain that can decouple consensus from the execution layer and outsource at least one of the three components to an external independent chain, a layer 2 if you will, while also conceding its ability to temporarily handle that component. Three components being execution, consensus, and data availability. As you can see here, the monolithic blockchain, jack of all trades, can't really separate the three. Modular, which is specified, puts things into different categories, at least separating execution from settlement and settlement from data availability / consensus. As of right now, layer 2 scaling solution rollups are the fastest way we know of to modularize and scale a trustworthy layer 1, being Cardano or Bitcoin, Ethereum, the main layer. But by decoupling the consensus from the execution layer, rollups move smart contract computation off-chain and store the bare minimum of transactions data on-chain. If you want to read the diagram, you can. It's essentially just showing what we just talked about, moving the smart contract computation off-chain and store the bare minimum of transaction data on-chain. Now, the ability to store data on L1 and retrieve it on demand is the feature that makes rollups a fully decentralized and secure execution layer, meaning if you trust Cardano and its decentralization, you can also trust a layer 2 that works this way, including Orbis. And for that storage of decentralization data on L1 is crucial, okay? The storage of transaction data on L1 is absolutely crucial. And this is the point of data availability that we're going to talk about now, which is relating the problem of how nodes in a network can be certain that this data that is being stored on L1 is a new block that's been produced and that has all the data in that block that's been published to the entire network, and it's legit. You can think of blockchain as a history of everything that has ever happened stored as data. The data stored in blocks can be separated into two parts, the block header and the block body containing the transaction data. Here's a little image of the block header components and the block body components with transactions if you want to look more into it. And basically, this block header consists of the metadata for the block, i.e. basic information about the state, and this will also show the sequence of transactions, which is quite important. The block body consists of transaction data and the data for all transactions that have occurred in the given block. For general purpose rollup solutions, if a block posts a valid block with a validity proof but does not release the data of the block, then the state of the ledger is unknown because you can't confirm that it's the same block. Therefore, is it going to add up? Is it going to match the ledger? No. So we can't confirm that it's matching the L1 solution, including the balances. Therefore, users will not be able to interact with the rollup. To ensure the validity of transactions happening on the rollups, any passive user of rollup should be able to trivially grab and verify transaction data in order to verify the state of the blockchain. And data availability enables users to do just that, and easily. Data availability plays a major role in maintaining the consensus and liveliness of the system, meaning that the rollup history must be available to create new blocks and update the consensus, and to keep block producers accountable for the data they post to the network. When it comes to data availability, Cardano has a problem right now, and many other blockchains do as well. It's not optimized for data availability, but rather optimized for data unavailability, meaning Cardano does not make the data available until the transaction is executed and the data is actually needed to execute said transaction. The bright side of this situation is that Cardano's full node size is considerably smaller than blockchains like Ethereum, which is kind of nice, and it does speed other things up, but doesn't make data available. With the current state of Cardano, it's hard to make data available for the rollups, making it difficult to build a rollup on top of Cardano. The upcoming Vasil hard fork event, which everyone is very hyped about and very excited for, would implement changes like inline datums, reference inputs, both of which I've went over in a separate video if you want to know more about them, that would enable a better data availability. But to implement scalability solutions like input endorsers, a dedicated data availability solution would be necessary. As of now, there are two different approaches to tackle this data availability problem: data availability sampling and verifiable digital fountains. If you want to read more on reference inputs or inline datums, you can click here or pause the video here and read here, or go to the video description and you can check out my Vasil hard fork benefits video where I do explain everything in the Vasil hard fork in a little bit more depth. So first, data availability sampling. This is an incredibly efficient method where a node can download just a small portion of the full block and not the block in its entirety of the data published by the rollup on layer 1, which can give guarantees that are identical to downloading and checking the entirety of the block. This is awesome. Verifiable digital fountains. This is a novel technology still under research that would enable transactions to be verified without continuously downloading data, enabling many transactions even with limited connectivity. Too long didn't read or too long didn't watch the whole video. Scaling using current monolithic blockchain designs that pretty much every blockchain is using right now are inefficient, and it's going to be really hard to solve the trilemma doing so. And the most promising way to solve the trilemma is going to be likely through modular blockchain architecture. At least that's what Orbis is claiming, and likely they're smarter than me, so I'm not going to try to dispute it here on this video, and probably won't try to dispute it ever. But it definitely seems pretty promising to me. An efficient data availability solution is a critical component for modular blockchain, and this will be needed on Cardano. But luckily, Orbis is working on it, and there's plenty of people at IOHK also working on it, and have looked into this. It's not like a last-minute thing. If you want to know more about zero-knowledge proofs and ZK rollups, there is a thread by Orbis that will leave linked down in the description. I'll also leave this thread linked down in the description so you can read it and follow them for more threads, explaining why the blockchain trilemma is a thing and explaining why we need to go this modular method rather than the other monolithic method. That's it for today's video. If you guys want to stake your ADA, turn passive ADA on your ADA, you can do so with the Jack stake pool. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. It's been your friend Jack. Peace out.